do this because they love to cherry pick. They can find, any one person that has been killed. And if they've been killed by an immigrant, then God darn it, every single immigrant is going out and they are killers. And that is the problem. But they don't want to talk about white supremacy. I don't know how many hearings we going to have about the fact that there's been this one immigrant that killed this one person. And no, I'm not excusing any killings by them or white supremacists. But they haven't had these hearings. We didn't have a hearing on Buffalo and what happened there. We didn't have a hearing on El Paso and what happened there. We didn't have a hearing on Charleston and what happened there. So it's interesting that they pick and choose because it seems like they love to pal around with the white supremacists, and so they don't want to talk about certain other things. But
okay, she makes me sick. First of all, we're not talking about immigrants. We're not talking about we're talking about illegal immigrants. That's who we're talking about. And guess what? No one, not Trump, not any of the Republicans, nobody has said the race of someone matters when we're talking about illegal immigrants or the victims of crimes of illegal immigrants. No one said anything about race. So what is she talking about?
First off, I need my little blue flag to pop up that says I'm marked safe from that woman. Because I was like, do we have to? But fine, I am safe from her. There are so many things I thought about, and yeah, I was really petty. All I can think of is that you're serving. You need to brush your hair. You need to pick up a book because you sound. And we know that she's educated, highly educated. So the fact that she's intentionally picking up the most ghetto, nonsensical. She's ghetto, unfabulous, and she makes it a point. That's how she makes her money.
Right.
And it's insane. And when was the last time she ran into a white supremacist? What white supremacist prevented her from being in Congress?
I have no idea.
Her from getting all of her degrees. Where are they? Where are they? And I'm not saying they don't exist, but they have done less than the George Floyds who are actively terrorizing communities, actively terrorizing Black communities, Black people acting crazy criminals, and brown people. They're committing statistically. She can just look it up. And she has access to all of the data. It's not hard to find. And you're right, KJ. Is she going to be saying this if we start bringing in or all of the, I don't know, Russian nationalists that came over? Because we know they came from all nations, millions of them. No one mentioned race. And that's why I think it's interesting because they try to make it seem like we're wanting to get rid of all of the Hispanics, like we're targeting Hispanic immigrants, illegal immigrants, and we're not. This administration is going after all immigrants who are illegals and criminals first. They make it clear. It's insane. I'm so done with her. Can we be done with her? Who is voting for her? What do I have to do to help in that state? Do I need to? I'll sit down and go help that state to get rid of her because they just perpetuate the lies, the nonsense, the bile. And innocent people continue to be hurt. And then you have all those groups clapping and cheering. And yes, girl. Oh, yeah, she said that. She did. She's doing nothing. She is saying nothing.
Exactly. And instead of defending American lives, she ranted about cherry picking, her words, murders committed by illegals, as if one dead American isn't enough. You know what? But this is, again, I hate to keep saying this. This is Marxism. Marxism thrives on division, especially racial division. And Jasmine Crockett immediately made the hearing about white supremacy instead of illegal crime, illegal alien crime. So instead of confronting policies that get Americans killed, she used the same old tactic, stoke racial resentment to avoid responsibility. That's how Marxists operate. They identify oppressor versus oppressed, stir outrage, and frame justice as hate. We know this. We know this. This is what we're talking about because they don't have any sympathy for American victims. She mocked the idea of accountability for criminal illegals. You know, she said something about, so what if your loved one was murdered by an illegal alien? It's not the whole group. Whatever. Minimizing death and pain to protect her failed narrative is what she's doing.
No,
She
you're right.
makes me
And the
sick.
reason why illegal alien crime is so much more upsetting is because they had no right to be here. And that is what the moms and the dads and the grandparents of the victims, the ones that are murdered, like the ones here in Maryland, that is why they're so upset, because the criminals should never have been in this nation. And then when they come to a state that protects them, like Hochul in New York, like the state of Maryland, like Michigan, so many areas in states, California, they had no right to be on our soil. So the
Right.
fact that they can go and just drunk driving, hit and kill innocent bystanders, or just sober driving, you have no right to be on the streets. That is what makes it that much worse for those families. There's no recourse. There are no laws that we are enforcing the same way that we would if they were an American citizen. And we have their bank accounts, and we have restitution. We have other things that we can gain access to. And they knew what they were doing was wrong. We're getting people from nations who don't realize, apart from the sheer demonic activity, that what they're doing is a crime, because sometimes what they would do here is not really a crime that's going to be prosecuted where they're from. And
Right.
many of them have gotten away with multiple murders and assaults and rapes and everything else in their own nation. And so
Right.
you're doing it, no big deal. That is the crime. That they were even here to commit a crime is what makes me so livid.
Me too. Me
Livid.
too. And again, this illegal immigration is not about national security. It's about national security. It's not about skin color. And
Yeah.
sanctuary, but the issue though is these sanctuary policies are failing. Illegal crime is rising, and voters are waking up. So instead of them, the left, responding to that, they try to deflect. When exposed, they, what do? They cry racism. They blame Trump. They invoke conspiracy theories and dodge accountability. This is because they have no real solutions to this. All they want is open borders for power, because they want to try to get these people voting, and hopefully they want them to vote on the left so they can get more seats in Congress and get more people leftists in leadership. This is what it's all about. It's all about power.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like the clip that we saw about getting paid to protest, she
Right.
said it's for the next election. All of this is for the next election cycle. It's for the next election of the next election. If we hadn't won this election, if President Trump wasn't president, we would already have 1 million more people here in the nation just in the last couple of months. Just in 6 months, I guarantee over 1 million people would have crossed right over. But this, again, is not just Marx. This is a spiritual battle. This is, and I love how the chat is firing up about her, and how she claims to be spiritual. So many of them profess Christianity. I wish there was a boxing ring of sorts. New Testament, the disciples are talking and somebody challenges them and they like shut them down, and Christ would just shut them down and was like, oh, I wish there was a version of that where we could get in a ring and have a real spiritual battle with some of those who profess Christianity and spew disgusting, vile hatred and just this nonsense, because really they need to go head to head with somebody who will cast that out in the name of Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Head to head with somebody who will preach the word and is not afraid to tell the truth, because they're not afraid that they're going to offend their Black congregation or their really conservative congregation or the really liberal congregation, whatever the congregation box is. They're not afraid. Those are the kinds of Christians that I'm looking to get into the ring and fight these battles.